Good evening. Welcome to this forum for the City of Clawson Mayor and City Council. Today is September 17th, 2025. This forum will feature 2 candidates for mayor and 12 candidates who have filed for Clawson City Council. The term for mayor is 4 years. Mr. O'Rourke and Mr. Scott are running for the remaining 2 years of the seat vacated by Mr. Binkowski. Voters may choose 4 of the other 10 candidates. The 3 candidates who receive the highest vote totals will be elected to 4-year terms. The candidate receiving the 4th highest vote total will be for a 2-year term. The League of Women Voters, Oakland area, is the sponsor of this forum. I'm Kevin McLogan, a member of the League of Women Voters. I am not a resident of Clawson. The League of Women Voters is a trusted national, nonpartisan political organization. Our members do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. While we never endorse a candidate, we are directly involved in shaping the important issues that keep our communities strong. As a member of the League of Women Voters, I can contribute in a leadership role such as this one that has great impact on local, state, and even national issues. If you are interested in learning about how you can make a similar impact, I would encourage you to pick up some of the League's information available here tonight or visit our website at lwvoa.org. The League of Women Voters does not endorse any candidate or political party. Views expressed in this forum are those of the candidates. The sponsors take no responsibility. The format for this forum has been established by the League of Women Voters. Because 14 people are running, we'll be holding 2 sessions tonight with 7 candidates in each session. The forum for candidates with the last names A through P will be first, and that will be followed by candidates with last names beginning R to T. To maintain fairness, the candidates scheduled for the second session will remain outside of the council chambers, and the same set of questions will be used for both sessions. Do we have any candidates that are not up on the dais in the audience? Okay, we don't. That's good. All right. Both mayoral candidates will be in the first group, this group right now. We ask that the audience remain silent during the forum. Please turn off all cell phones. We ask that candidates answer the question with their views only and not interrupt another candidate. The questions are asked to all candidates and do not single out any one candidate. However, at my discretion, a question may be asked of only the mayoral candidates, both of whom are here in the first session. This presentation is copyrighted 2025 by the League of Women Voters, all rights reserved. All candidates will be answering questions submitted by the audience and screened for duplication and appropriateness by Marie Donegan and Jerry Rinchler. Lois McDaniel is one of our pages, and Christine Allen is helping us as well. They'll be circulating with note cards and pencils for your questions. Please give your questions to the pages. The format is as follows. All candidates will be given 1 minute for opening statements in alphabetical order. Closing statements will be 1 minute in reverse order. Candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question in rotation, unless extended by the moderator. All candidates will be allowed equal time to answer the questions. Our timer is Pat Kish. So candidates, please keep your eye on Pat. She has some important cues to tell you how much time you have left. And we're going to enforce that pretty strictly because we're going to turn this room over in 50 minutes. So the candidates for the first session are Bruce Anderson. You want to raise your hand or say hi, whatever. George Georges, Scott E. Manning, Paula Millen, Susan Moffett, Aidan O'Rourke, and Meredith Peltonen. So we will begin the 1 minute opening statements with Mr. Anderson.
Well, good evening. My name is Bruce Anderson. I'm currently serving on the Clawson City Council, and I'm looking to be reelected. I lived here with my wife 29 years in the city of Clawson. All three of our children went through the Clawson school system. So we're pretty heavily settled into the city, shall we say. About 4 years ago, I decided to seek election to the council, not because I desired a political career, but because I observed there was a lot of disorder in the city government at that time. I know in 2 short years, they burnt through 4 city managers and 5 city clerks. And you don't have to be a municipal government expert to understand that that's going to create a problem. So I ran 4 years ago, got elected, and in the last 4 years, I think we've made some significant progress in that area. And so at this time, I'm asking for your vote in November.
George?
Good evening. My name is George Georges. I'm running for a position on the city council. I have been on the council twice before, all right, and this is the second time that I've actually run in the election. I spent 4 years in the United States Marine Corps, of which 16 months was over in Vietnam, and I walked away with 100% medical disability. I'm a retired certified public accountant. I graduated from Wayne State University, and I've done some masters at Wayne State in accounting and taxes. I currently manage a department in a small business where we have about 23 to 24 people. I have been on the Clawson Planning Commission. I'm a former member, and a former member of the Clawson Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Manning?
I'm Scott Manning. I serve as pastor of the United Methodist Church here in town, as well as up in Rochester Hills, the St. Luke's across from Oakland University. I have 9 years of experience in public office, having served on 2 boards of education, not in Clawson, but in Central Michigan area and in Southwest Michigan when I lived in those communities. I have experience in strategic planning, having worked with Montcalm County as part of a strategic planning team. My education from CMU is a bachelor's in public administration. I have a master's of divinity. I have a desire to work and serve in community, and I believe city council is one of the ways in which I may share those skills in community. And so I'm a candidate for the 4-year city council seat.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Paula Milan, and I'm here tonight to ask for your support one more time as I seek re-election as your mayor. I believe Clawson is in a pivotal point in our history, and I believe we have much more to accomplish together under my leadership. We have successfully championed historic investments in our infrastructure, and we have several major development projects underway. We have formed collaborations with our schools, businesses, and community groups to provide streamlined services. We have invested in public safety, code enforcement, and communication tools to improve services for our residents. And these achievements are a result of teamwork and proven leadership that forges a stronger future for Clawson. This election season, I am focused on momentum, stability, consistency, and continuity, on building on our successes and championing the people and the relationships that drive positive outcomes for our community. Together, we can continue to make our community stronger for all.
When I ran for council in 2017, I had just seen Hamilton, and I took a lot of inspiration from that. This time, I turned to Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. If you're not familiar with this fictional character, she lives in a town called Pawnee. She's a dedicated public servant who loves her town. To paraphrase her speech to the community when she wins her council seat, she says, "I know firsthand how special the people of this city are. No one achieves anything alone. Let's embark on a new journey together. Let's break out the map, not the old, outdated map, but the one that not the old outdated map that shows where we've been, but a crisp new one that shows where we might go. Let's embark on a new journey together and see where it takes us. The same can be said for Clawson. We are uniquely special. I am running so we can craft a future for the city chambers where it's a place of civility, productivity, and a promise of what our future can hold.
Hi, I'm Aiden O'Rourke, and I'm running for the 2-year partial term on Clawson City Council. This is a separate race from the regular 4-year seats, and I'm only running against one other candidate. I chose this path because I care about where our city is headed and want to step up and serve. For the past 8 years, I've worked as an application engineer in the auto industry, where I focus on solving problems and advocating for customers. Here in Clawson, I serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals and volunteer in the music ministry at St. Mary's in Royal Oak, where I sing and play guitar. On council, I'll focus on practical, modern zoning that strengthens our downtown, grows the tax base, and welcomes new families into our schools while still protecting the character of our neighborhoods. I believe in listening to residents, respecting your decisions, and following the city charter. Clawson is something special, and I want to protect what makes it great while helping it grow the right way. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Meredith Peltonen. I was born and raised right here in Clawson and had the benefit of attending our excellent public schools all the way from preschool until graduation in 2002 before I headed off to Michigan State. When we added these 2 seats to City Council, I kind of took it as a sign for the next generation to step up into some leadership roles. When I started preschool, my mom had already founded the Early Childhood PTA, so I figured I should get a move on. And I'm running for city council because I really believe people are good and that we have a lot more in common than we realize. I've seen a lot of disagreements that I can tell came about just from misunderstandings. So I would like us to look at take more of an optimistic approach to problem solving while keeping reasonable expectations, but maintaining a respectful manner. And I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and I hope I can earn one of your votes for City Council.
Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody. We'll now begin the question segment of our forum. So most questions will have a 1-minute time limit, and some may have a shorter time limit, but 1 minute would probably be the max. So let's start the questioning with Mr. Anderson. What are your top 3 priorities given the many action items on your master plan and with limited resources?
Well, my top priority has been to maintain stability within the Clawson City government. That means, the Clawson City Council does not run the city. The city manager runs the city. We essentially act as an oversight committee to make sure things are running properly. So one of the most important jobs you can do is hire the right city manager. That has been done. And the most important thing then is to then maintain the forward progress that he has made. The last thing we need is a council that thinks they can run the city and hire and fire people willy-nilly. Again, I mentioned 4 years ago, in 2 short years, we went through 4 city managers. So that's my number 1 priority, is to maintain that stability. Guess number 2 would be, we currently have an infrastructure program going. We need to maintain the momentum for that. That was approved by the voters in a bond millage, and we need to make sure that proceeds properly.
Okay, Mr. George.
My top three positions are, number 1, it goes back to the bond issue, the $65 million bond issue that the city passed for us to take care of our infrastructure. I haven't seen the amount of engineering of the project so that we know we're spending our money in the proper way. Right now, from what I can see, they're asking for everything be done with concrete. I'd like to see something done with asphalt. When you have a low-volume road like we do in our residential districts, okay, we can use asphalt and we would get approximately the same life of the road that you would with concrete. The difference would be the amount of money we're spending. It could be as much as 30 to 40% less, which would mean that we would free up, approximately $15 to $20 million.
Thank you. Mr. Manning?
Number one would be civility and communication as city leaders and with community, to allow that respectful communication, and that respect is a two-way street. Speaking of streets, my number two issue is infrastructure, not only the roads, but our water and sewer systems. Number three would be our housing and business development, making sure that it follows with a long-term visioning plan and creates an atmosphere where those that are here can meet new folks coming in and find a happy place where we actually live out even better that mission of being the little city with a big heart. I think we have it, and it can be even bigger.
My three goals, in no particular order, I would like to ensure that we maintain the momentum that we are currently on with the projects that we've started, whether it be the infrastructure project, our road projects, relationships with boards, commissions, our school board, the collaboration that we've enforced. I think that's critical to just maintain the path that we are currently on. We can only do that if we have sound leadership and if the leadership that's in place now maintains. And I think that's really critical for where we are today. I also think, as far as development goes, Clawson is on the crux of so many great little projects, which is wonderful for us to see new things, but we have issues with that because what do we do? How fast do we develop? What type of projects do we want? What type of housing do we want? Do we want more apartments? Do we want less apartments? Do we want more single family? All of those things require conversation and a plan to ensure that we're delivering what the residents want, and also communication, and the communication is across the board for all things and all people.
My top priority would echo what Mr. Manning said, is restoring civility to the chambers, making sure it's a welcoming and comfortable place for everybody to be. Second, it would be transparency in regard to the infrastructure bill and projects. People have questions. They want to know what's going on, how the money's been spent, where are we in the process, so making sure that we're transparent and getting information out. And my third would be something I've talked a lot about, and that's creating pathways for solutions for residents. Time and time again, we hear that people have been coming to City Hall for sometimes 11 years, and they don't get any solutions to their problems. We need a pathway to get solutions, not just answers.
All right, my top three. Number one would be trust the voter. I believe in trusting the voter. When you make your voice heard at the ballot box, I'll respect that the first time. My job is, it's going to be to represent you, not second guess what you are trying to say with your vote. Number two, charter adherence and ordinance updates. Follow the charter strictly, and also work to find gaps in our ordinance where we're leaving things up that they're very subjective. We're leaving things up to chance or to personal interpretation, so we need to close those gaps so we don't have any question marks. The third one is going to be the development and zoning modernization. Just bringing our zoning, bringing our town into the 21st century to bring services, to bring the type of housing that we want. So just to make sure that we're aligned for the future.
So also in no particular order, because this actually changes a lot depending on when I talk to people, and I keep hearing more kind of different things that people are concerned with, but the number one thing is communication that I keep getting told, and I think that falls with transparency. What I have found in a lot of my research is that Clawson actually is on a really good path in a lot of ways, and it's just not easy to find. So when we're looking for, road plans, once you find it, it can be very informative, but it's kind of hard to get. And then another issue that just seems pretty easy to fix that I think we can do quickly is with the communication again. But when we just had the water main break and people got texts somebody said he went online and it wasn't even on our alerts. So I think we can figure out a way to better communicate across the board. And I would like people to show up to meetings more. I think seeing this many people is great.
All right, thank you, everybody. Next question, we're going to start with Mr. Georges. Given the recent challenges to meeting decorum and the protection of free speech during public comments, what is your plan to uphold Robert's Rules of Order? How would you proactively ensure that citizens' right to criticize the government is protected and that such comments are not interrupted?
That's an interesting question. Okay. Here we go. The problem that we have in the Rogers Rule of Orders, okay, here in Clawson is we just don't follow them. If we don't follow them, you can't enforce them. If you can't enforce them, you're going to have the problem. So what we have to do is go back to the basics and set the rules in place so that the people sitting up at the dais, the council, follows the orders in the way it should be done, okay? And that's going to resolve your problems, and that'll take care of the problems as long as you follow the rules.
Thank you. Mr. Manning?
For council members, one of the pieces after election should be a training on Robert's Rules of Order. Some of us have proficiency in that, others do not. If you don't work with it all the time, it's not always easy. First Amendment and the right of people to speak and share their ideas, including criticisms, is enshrined in our law. The key that I would see is if we can respectfully communicate with one another, we can relay those comments and those criticisms. And that is a critical key for government to be able to move forward. But let's do it constructively.
Okay, thank you.
Would you please repeat the question?
Absolutely. Given the recent challenges to meeting decorum and the protection of free speech during public comments, what is your plan to uphold Robert's Rules of Order? How would you proactively ensure that citizens' right to criticize the government is protected and that such comments are not interrupted?
I think Robert's Rules of Order is pretty clear that meetings should be, the topic should be related to the government and not personal attacks, first of all. I don't think we've ever stopped anyone from speaking, paused, but never stopped. Always opportunity is there. Robert's Rules of Order is a guideline. It is not an absolute. If you read the book, it will say that it's a guideline. And I think in this community, I know our city manager gets annoyed with me and sometimes our city council because I often break Robert's rules or ask for an exception to allow residents to communicate their issues, which would mean during a specific time, we ask someone to come to the dais and give their opinion as opposed to waiting till later on. I think it's important to have that be a living, kind of a living document, a living thing so that it actually meets the needs of the community at the given time. And I am very proud of my ability to do that and what I have done in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess I would again agree with Mr. Manning, thanks for stealing all my answers, is that education is very, very important. But then secondly, I think I'm uniquely qualified to answer this as I am running for mayor, and it is the mayor's responsibility to set the tone of respectful dialogue. To quote Leslie Knope again, Leslie Knope says, "When people yell at me, I know it's just that they're caring loudly." And our people are very passionate about our community, but respect goes two ways, and always creating that environment where people feel they can express what's on their mind, that it's welcomed and encouraged, and creating the proper environment is the responsibility of the mayor.
Yeah, so Robert's Rules of Order are extremely important to be followed. It gives the public a fair, each citizen a fair shot at speaking their mind. It doesn't give preference, doesn't give more time to a certain view, less time to a certain view, and also part of all of our job is going to be to get criticized. That's okay. It's okay to have disagreements up here, but we also need to be able to walk out of here and be respectful of each other. So again, Robert's Rules of Order need to be followed to a T. It provides equality to everybody in the room.
I must agree with everyone that we need to educate ourselves on the rules to know how to follow them. But I think that if we all have that same common base to start from, that will be helpful. I think we just need to be respectful. I think everybody knows how to be respectful. I was actually thinking if more people came and spoke more, maybe we would be used to everyone's opinions and viewpoints flowing, and it wouldn't be such a shock if somebody has something negative to say. But that's all.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
Well, I think the question assumes that we haven't been following Robert's Rules of Orders, and the fact is, we have. When we've strayed, we have a city attorney and a city clerk that rein us back in. And as far as a lack of decorum is concerned, that's mostly been due to some of the public statements. I, for one, believe that we can have disagreements, but the disagreements should not turn into disrespect. But the fact is, according to the First Amendment, you have the right to disrespect people. And many times we people making public comment that are frankly disrespectful. So I, for one, since I support the First Amendment, I support their right to be disrespectful. But guess what? Disrespectful actions lead to a lack of decorum, and so thus it's a kind of a lack of decorum that we're going to have to live with. Meanwhile, we'll continue to obey Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, thank you. Everybody's keeping right on time, so I appreciate that. A lot of you talked about in the last question about, you touched on it a little bit, and then someone gave me a question I think is real appropriate to follow up with. And we're only going to need 30 seconds for this one, so make your, it's pretty much a I support it, I don't support it kind of thing. So, Michigan Municipal League offers training for elected officials. Will you commit to participating in MML training and activities? And we're going to start with Mr. Manning.
That's an absolute yes. When I was on school board, I went through certified training. And with the county that I lived in at the same time, we did leadership training. I believe it is helpful in governance and envisioning for the community.
I have participated in many MML training sessions. I did all of the early election ones, which if anyone is elected here, they will get a little plethora of them. But I've also done, they have an academy, and I have taken, I'm almost there. I'm almost finished with the academy. I've taken a lot of their training, and I also do other in leadership and meeting information on my own because education is power.
Mm-hmm.
I historically have not taken advantage of them, but I wouldn't be opposed to doing them. I assume they're online now because it's post-COVID and everything's online, so I would definitely take a look at them.
And I also absolutely would take them. When I got appointed to ZBA, there was an optional workshop, 3-hour workshop. I immediately said yes to that. I believe in educating myself so I can serve this community in the best way possible, so absolutely.
Yes, I would love for us to all take a training. I think this is a great opportunity because the 2 additional seats mean we're going to have more people on the council anyway, so it seems like a great time for it. And yeah, I think it can only do good.
Yes, and that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Georges?
Yes.
Okay. So what would you actively do to obtain dollars for road and sewer repair? The recent infrastructure bond is not enough to repair and maintain roads. How is Clausen maintaining roads now? And we'll start with Ms. Millen.
If it were easy, we would have already done it. So we apply for everything that we know is out there. The administration is very active in that. We have had some success with some of our local elected officials who've been able to get us money for our roads and infrastructure. I think the key is relationships, relationships, relationships. I think our administration needs to be very active with our elected officials outside of the local area so that they can build those relationships, so when things come up, they know the right people to talk to, because in speaking to some of our senators' staff and our senators, the process is very arduous to get money, but you have to know it's there, and that's part of it, right? So having us seek these things out, which we do, and then having the good relationships, so once you do find something, you can pursue it. We've all done that too. We don't have a lot of options. No one's going to drop the money on our front porch, but I think relationships is the key way for all of that.
So I would say we need to be more active in seeking out grants. I've heard from a plethora of elected officials and people outside the community. They actually say some derogatory things about our lack of diligence in applying for grants. We need to seek out the grants, learn about the grants, learn how to write grants, talk to people about grants. Grants. I'm going to go for 10 more seconds, no, but definitely seeking grants, because there's money there, and from what I understand from a variety of people, we're not tapping into it, we're not getting the money that's available.
And I also am going to say, pursue grants. You see communities around us constantly getting awarded grants. We need to figure out how to win those. We also, like I was saying, with the zoning and development, we need to grow our tax base. We have a lot of vacant land in the downtown, not generating tax revenue. So we need to fill in those gaps so it can start generating dollars for us to put towards these repairs.
I agree that we obviously need to look at grants, but also I would like to look more into what tax revenue we would get from having marijuana dispensaries, because I believe that was also voted on, and I don't know exactly the tax revenue numbers, but I know that other cities that have them get a lot of money from them.
This is like deja vu. 2 years ago, everybody on the platform said, oh, grants, got to get grants, got to get better at the grants. Well, I've worked closely with the city manager about getting grants, and he has got grants. Approximately 1.1 million in federal grants and just under $1 million in state grants. So yes, we all love grants. We like, shall we say, free money that's secured outside Clawson. Let's not forget, at the state level, there's 10 million people in this state. There's 11,000 in this city. We represent basically 0.1%. And Ms. McDonald from the Michigan State House informed us that there's about $1 billion a year and going down in terms of grant money. So as a small community, it's hard to get our piece of the pie, but we are getting it. And our city manager will continue to do so.
That's kind of a favorite topic with me, okay? I don't think we have to go after grants the way everybody's looking at it, because one thing, the federal government has shown us what they do with their spending. They've been cutting. Now, if they cut at the federal level, they're going to cut at the state level, and our big city of Clawson gets what? Nothing. What we have to do is we have to go back, take a look at that $65 million we're going to spend on roads, and see if we're spending the money correctly. And I'm telling you right now, if we're doing concrete in the entire city, we're wasting the money. Because whatever study you can go look up on the internet or go talk to the engineers, if it's a low volume or low traffic road, you don't want concrete, you want asphalt. And asphalt, okay, is 30, 40, 50% cheaper than concrete. Now, I've had one person that's on the council tell me that, well, our concrete roads
Thank you.
are no good. They can't use it as a base.
Mr. Manning?
I believe we have to look to grants. It's not the catch-all to take care of our problems. But before getting the grants, I agree with the mayor that it has to do with relations and building relationships and building trust. And I go back to the time in another county when I was on strategic planning team and went to a township board that could get a grant to pay 80% of the cost of putting in a sewer system. The relationship was not there with the community, and the community rejected the whole idea, even though 80% of the bill would be covered. And in the subsequent year, the community was the one I lived in. We lost $1 million of investment. Relationship has to come before the grants. And the education with MML and other places has to come before, and then we have to be diligent in fighting for the grants available to us.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Let's do a 30-second question, just a little something to let everybody know you a little bit better. So what Clawson organizations do you belong to or regularly support in Clawson? We're going to start with Ms. Moffett.
So I am currently on city council. I am halfway through a 2-year term, and that is my biggest involvement at this time.
Yeah, so I moved here 4 years ago. I'm involved in my church in Royal Oak, but here I applied for the Planning Commission a while ago. I got appointed to ZBA and kind of made that my own, and I've been, full into that for the past few months. But that's been, that's been a ton of fun in a great way that I've been able to give back.
So most of my involvement lately, since I have returned back to Clawson in, I think, 2021, but has been doing anything with, I have 3 nibblings, nieces and nephews, that all attend Clawson schools and play soccer and did baseball. And so a lot of my Clawson activities are just wherever the little kids are.
Well, yeah, when my children were younger, we were much more engaged in various sports activities. But yes, we have that, and also my wife and I were members of the Grace Apostolic Church of Clawson. And in my spare time, I serve on Clawson City Council.
Mr. Georges?
Most of what I do, is really not for public broadcasting, okay? When people need something, they call me and I help them out. It's that simple.
Okay. Mr. Manning?
I don't see anything funny about that, by the way.
In addition to serving as pastor, and just so y'all know, pastors work more than 1 hour a week. I also serve on the 4th of July committee for Clawson, and I work with international exchange students. I host them, and I supervise exchange students, and so those are some areas of passion. And working with the Baldwin Center in Pontiac, which our church is involved with, and churches in the area, so those social service areas.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to say to Mr. Georges, he does the best kind of service, because that's what service really is, on the side where people don't know. So I'm giving him a high five for that one. But I will tell you what I serve on the Friends of the Library, and I love it. I love the people who are part of the Friends of the Library. They're just great cheerleaders for our community. They participate in everything. I'm on Clawson Youth Assistance, same. I work with the gardening club whenever I can, but they have to tell me everything to do because I'm not a good gardener. I support the Clawson Chamber of Commerce and volunteer there as much as I can. I also assist with 4th of July committee activities, and I try and participate in anything that is going on around this community.
Okay, thank you. All right. Here's a question for you. We'll start with Mr. O'Rourke. Our community recently had a special election in May, which cost approximately $25,000 to reconsider a change to the charter that had already been approved by voters. Why do you believe holding this special election was the right course of action, or why not?
Yeah, so that topic is the reason I really started getting involved. When I heard we were having another election on something we already voted for, I said, that's funny, but not funny. And so I fully was against it, voted no and everything on that. An enormous waste of money. And it was mainly the premise of the people up here, they were trying to decide what we meant by when we voted yes on the charter. It was very, very clear. It was very clear that we supported the whole thing. Now, people are saying a la carte this, a la carte that, but the fact of the matter is, we voted yes on it, and I didn't like going back to try again on certain aspects of it.
I definitely see why people were very frustrated to have that election after they had already voted on it. But I do look at it and see it as kind of a blessing in disguise. I'm not going to go as far as saying it was a good idea, but I do see that it got a lot of people involved and got a lot of people to start paying attention. And so if I think of, it really also confirmed that we really do want more people sitting up here. So all in all, I think it served its purpose.
Yes, it did serve its purpose. Two additional, as far as the money's concerned, two additional council members is 1,400 apiece times 2, 2,800. So in 10 years, we will burn $28,000 for the privilege of having two additional council members. So if you're worried about money, well, that was an attempt at a cost savings. And as far as why it was even called as an issue, there was a point to where the council commission stood before the charter commission stood before the council and said, we are not going to rewrite the charter. We're just going to update it, revise it. And I think by and large, they did a pretty good job. But then they went and said, let's expand the council from 5 to 7. And it was kind of like, why did such a thing need to occur? And I spoke to many people who said, we support the charter exchange, but not that 5 to 7. So what we did is we gave the voters an opportunity to reconsider just that part. And they spoke loud and clear. 7 council members you shall have.
Mr. Georges?
The only thing I can say is we take a look at our planning commission and say, how many members do we have on the planning commission? 9? Okay, why can't we have 7 on the city council? If you start looking at the numbers and the math, it's a diminishing of power when you increase the number. In other words, you don't have 20% anymore if you take it to 7, you got 14. It's all mathematics, okay? And what was done was wrong, period.
I would not have voted to put it on the ballot, but it was on the ballot, which gave we the voters another opportunity to affirm that decision. The school has 7 members. Other commissions and boards in the community tend to have more representation. I don't think the extra representation hurts us. And we were given that opportunity a second time to share the view, and we did. And so 7 it'll be.
I will echo Councilmember Anderson's comments that he made earlier, and I will also say that a city charter can be changed at any time. The outrage over going to the voters for an issue on the charter didn't make sense because we just changed the charter. We changed the charter. So were we upset we changed the charter the first time? I think some of us up here actually were. Some of us up here actually worked really hard to try and hope that it didn't take place the first time. And I will say the $20,000 that was spent on an election to give voters an opportunity to share their voice was $20,000 well spent, even though the outcome was not what everybody maybe wanted, but it was what some people wanted. And I would say that that $20,000 was a much better use of community funds than the dollars that some people have voted on to eliminate staff and make us start over from scratch on our leadership. So I will stand by that still today.
So I was one of only 2 people on council because I was serving on council when that vote came before us. I opposed it then, and I opposed putting the special election together. And it is correct. I was opposed to the charter back in the day. However, I am not so arrogant as to think that my opinion is the only one that counts, and I respect the opinions of the community because that's my job as an elected official. And the community wanted the charter expanded, and to try and take it away before it was even tried was disrespectful to the people who voted for it. And the people, again, resoundingly, 2-1, said, respect our opinion, this is what we wanted, let's give it a try.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, everybody, for your thoughtful answers. And here's another question. We're going to start with Ms. Peltonen. Do you consider Clausen to be inclusive of seniors? What programs do you support, and do you support maintaining the Renshaw apartments?
So my Aunt Debbie is very involved in the seniors in Clausen, and so I don't know a whole lot about what activities they do, but it does seem like they have a lot of really good fun activities for them. As far as the Renshaw apartments, my dad moved here in 1964. I've talked to so many other people. I know they weren't around yet, but my point being that I think most people have no idea what they are or that they exist. So I don't think that's anywhere near my opinion to say if we should keep them or sell them. I think it should just be up to the voters to decide on that.
Well, yes, I do believe Clausen is inclusive to seniors because frankly, there's so many of us. So they don't have a choice. As far as Renshaw goes, like Ms. Politan said, I lived here 25 years ago, or I've lived here 25 years, and I was informed that the city owned rental property, which was Renshaw. I thought, I've lived for 25 years, I never knew that. I've talked to many people. I'll bet you 90% of Clausen residents don't know we own an apartment complex, which currently is providing subsidized rent for 15 people. I won't get into it here, there's not time, but that's an issue that has to be addressed by the next council, a long-term plan.
It's interesting about seniors. We have a lot that we put forth in the past. In regards to Renshaw, okay, it's a decision that the voters have to make. It's not the council. The only thing the council can do is suggest how they're going to spend the money if they sell the program. And my understanding right now, looking forward, is that any money that's made from Renshaw is going to be put back in for the people that live at Renshaw. How they're going to do it, I have no idea. Okay?
I believe Clausen is an inclusive community, inclusive of our seniors. Still trying to define at what age do I become a senior, depending on what organization I ask. With regard to Renshaw, I'm an advocate of keeping it, but ultimately, it's up to the voters. If you ask me how I would vote on selling it as a council member, I would vote to keep it. I've been in small communities and large communities. I've lived in a very small community with less than 2,000 people. I've lived in Washington, D.C. And in each of those locations, we had government-owned housing in the mix. It has a value. One of the challenges that we have as a city is not to quickly throw it on the ballot to sell, but let's look at a strategic plan. How does it fit with a strategic plan for 2040 or 2050? How does it fit?
Thank you. I believe Clausen is extremely committed to our senior citizen population. We have a really robust senior program headed by Scott Jennings and Lisa Ball. They offer discounted lunches, they have games, they have outings, they have a wonderful community that meets the needs of people who are aging, and that includes people of all ages, right? Of ages. And I think that's wonderful. As far as Renshaw goes, I'm far less concerned with the building than I am with the people who currently call Renshaw their home. I do think ultimately it is a decision that needs to go to the residents. I would never want that on my shoulders to decide if we're going to take care of 15, 17 residents or the 12,000 that we have on the other side. I do think it's something that needs to go to the citizens to vote on, but I think there should be a plan there first that says what happens with the people who are there before we make that plan.
Can I ask you to read the question again? Because I didn't hear it all the way the first time.
Do you consider Do you consider Clawson to be inclusive of seniors? What programs do you support? And do you support maintaining the Renshaw apartments?
Gotcha. Okay. So I would, again, I would echo what's been said. Mr. Jennings and Lisa Ball do a great job. I haven't been to the senior community or senior center, but my neighbors go on a regular basis and they're very impressed by what goes on. So there's been a lot of improvement there, and I think that's significant. As far as the Renshaw apartments, I've said it on this dais and I'll say it again, that I, number one, do believe the voters ultimately need to decide what we're going to do with it, but I will not ever vote to put it on the ballot until we have a plan in place for what we're going to do for those 15 human lives. Everyone talks about the money and talks about a bunch of other things, and at the end of the day, we're talking about people who have been left in limbo for too long with everybody deciding what's going to happen to their future, and we need to think of them first and then the dollars.
Yeah, I think we do a lot for our seniors, but we need to do more for our for the whole senior community as a whole. When it comes to Renshaw, my position's consistent with where I stood in the charter, and other huge issues like this one. Put the decision directly to the voters at the general election and respect their voice. If the voters decide not to sell, then we need to bring that property into compliance to the best of our ability. If the voters choose to sell, we must ensure the most equitable and fair separation agreement for the current residents there, one that sets them up for future housing success. And then, of course, the proceeds from that sale need to be directly invested into the senior programs that benefit the whole senior community.
Okay, thank you. This concludes the time for questions. The candidates will now be given a 1 minute to make a closing statement in the reverse order of opening statements. So we're going to start with Ms. Peltonen and then conclude with Mr. Anderson.
Okay. Well, growing up here, I do know firsthand how close-knit our community is, and that is why we must make every decision with thought and care and with community input, because it really does matter and it makes a difference. I have spent a career in the service industry, and that has taught me how to have a sense of urgency while maintaining high standards. And I value consistency, and I know the importance of people feeling heard, not just being heard. I will be graduating from MSU with my undergraduate degree, but in interdisciplinary studies, and my focus is on law, justice, and public policy. So I think that will help guide me with decisions to make on the council. If elected, I will come prepared, I will be respectful, and I will serve everyone in our community with the dignity they deserve. And thank you for coming tonight.
Clawson is a great place to live. Its future needs steady, thoughtful leadership. I'll trust voters, follow the charter, and push for decisions that are open and responsible. We have real opportunities to grow our tax base in ways that keep our neighborhoods strong and preserve the small town character we all value. If you elect me, I'll lead with integrity, respect, and humility. I'll work with my colleagues professionally and make room for disagreement without letting it get personal, because that's how good work gets done. I'm not running to push a personal agenda. I'm running to listen and serve. I'd be honored to earn your support and your vote. Thank you for coming tonight.
First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this event, and everyone who came out tonight, and all those who will take the time to watch the video. I'm running for mayor because I believe Clawson is an exceptional city. I don't know many other communities where the residents are as proud as they are of this town. The elected officials who represent those residents should be people we are proud of, people who respect the confidence voters place in them and carry out their duties with preparation, thoughtfulness, and professionalism. We need officials who are willing to operate within the guardrails set by the city charter and faithfully execute those responsibilities within that framework. I have built a reputation as a common sense voice on the council, one who listens, who does their homework, and serves the community in a respectful and trustworthy way. I'm asking for your vote for mayor so I can bring those qualities to the office and craft Clawson's next chapter.
Ready? As mayor, I believe progress comes from cooperation. I will continue working side by side with residents and our administration, connecting resources to ensure your voice is always at the center of our city's future. I value your thoughts and opinions. Together, we will continue shaping solutions. Before my term, Clawson went through 8 city managers in 3 years. Under my leadership, we've restored stability, retained experienced professionals, and brought back expertise. Council and staff can now focus on improving our neighborhoods, upgrading infrastructure, supporting small businesses, and serving residents. I am proud of the progress that we have made together. I genuinely enjoy getting to know my neighbors, which is why you will often find me at events supporting Clawson and our partners and listening to your ideas and your concerns. I am asking for your support so we can finish the work we have started and keep Clawson moving forward together, continuing the momentum, ensuring stability, consistency, and continuity. You can contact me at paulamilan.net or paulamilan@comcast.net, and I appreciate your support.
It's a privilege to work and to serve in this community. And I'm running for city council to be able to continue to serve and be part of a community that I have grown to see has a big heart. I don't come with an agenda other than to serve. I can serve with anybody that's up here on this dais, as well as everybody here in the city. I believe we are called to come together to vision and then to serve, and to make Clawson the best city in Oakland County.
Mr. Georges?
Yes, in listening to everybody talk, okay, we all have grand ideas how we're gonna make everybody feel good, okay? The best way I know how to make people feel good is to make sure the bills get paid and we use the money wisely. The concern I have is that $65 million, which is a golden opportunity for us, is not headed into the right direction. Conceivably, if we bring in the engineers and have them take a look at it, they might come back and tell us, guess what? We can take the $65 million and fix all the roads. It's just how we do it. And that's what we have to look forward to. Nobody is saying that right now. What we're all concerned about is making sure everybody feels good. I don't care. I want the roads fixed. I want the sewers running. I want the water running. And I want us to look good.
Okay,
Period.
thank you.
And that's how you improve your
Mr. Anderson?
property values, by the way. Those are numbers.
Excuse me. Well, I've been an engineer in the automotive industry for 37 years. As a result, I'm kind of used to working with people to solve problems, whether it's as a group or as an individual. And one thing you find out quickly is some problems don't have good solutions. But I will say, again, the city council is not going to fix the problems of the city alone. The council has to work hand in hand with the city administration. And it's my belief in the last 3.5 years, the city administration has done a fairly good job, and we've been working hand in hand with them. And the reason I'm running for election is I think we've made a lot of progress in the last 4 years, and I want to make sure that progress continues. So thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for participating, and thank you all for running for office. It's a tough thing to do, and it is some rarely appreciated, but we appreciate you, League of Women Voters. So I'd like to thank the audience, the candidates, and Clawson Cable TV for making this forum possible. This presentation is copyrighted 2025 by the League of Women Voters. All rights reserved. Any recording may only be shown in its entirety. For more nonpartisan information on these candidates, visit vote411.org. Rebroadcast times of this forum will be on the League of Women Voters website. The League of Women Voters is funded by contributions from concerned businesses and citizens. Our membership is open to men and women over the age of 16. So everybody remember to vote on November 5th. And thank you all for coming. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to reset and have the other candidates. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this forum for the City of Clawson Mayor and City Council. Today is September 17th, 2025. This forum will feature two candidates for mayor. They were already in the first session, so all the candidates here at this hour are running for Clawson City Council. The term for mayor is 4 years. Mr. O'Rourke and Mr. Scott are running for the remaining 2 years of the seat vacated by Mr. Binkowski. Voters may choose 4 of the other 10 candidates. The 3 candidates who receive the highest vote totals will be elected to 4-year terms. The candidate receiving the 4th highest vote will be elected for a 2-year term. The League of Women Voters Oakland area is the sponsor of this forum. I'm Kevin McLogan, a member of the League of Women Voters. I am not a resident of Clawson. The League of Women Voters is a trusted, national, nonpartisan political organization. Our members do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. While we never endorse a candidate, we are directly involved in shaping the important issues that keep our community strong. As a member of the League of Women Voters, I can contribute in a leadership role such as this one that has great impact on local, state, and even national issues. If you are interested in learning about how you can make a similar impact, I would encourage you to pick up some of the League's information that's available here tonight, or visit our website at lwvoa.org. The League of Women Voters does not endorse any candidate or political party. Views expressed in this forum are those of the candidates. The sponsors take no responsibility. The format for this forum has been established by the League of Women Voters. Because 14 people are running, we will be holding 2 sessions tonight, and this is the second of the 2 sessions. 7 candidates are in each session. All of the candidates here are running for City Council. And we split it up by alphabetical order. So this session, you'll see candidates with last names that start from R to T. To maintain fairness, the candidates scheduled for this session will remain outside of the council chambers, and the same set of questions will be used for both sessions. So I have all the questions that we asked the first session, so we're not looking for any more questions. The mayoral candidates were in the first group, and we are asking that the audience remain silent during the forum. Please turn off all cell phones. We ask that candidates answer the question with their views only and not interrupt another candidate. The questions are asked to all candidates and do not single out any one candidate. This presentation is copyrighted 2025 by the League of Women Voters. All rights reserved. All candidates will be answering questions submitted by the audience and screened for duplication and appropriateness by Marie Donegan and Jerry Rinchler. The pages, Lois McDaniel and Christine Allen were circulating with notepads and pencils for the questions, and we've already closed that part of the evening. The format is as follows. All candidates will be given 1 minute for opening statements in alphabetical order. Closing statements will be 1 minute in reverse order. Candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question in rotation unless extended by the moderator. And we'll also have some questions that are shorter, that we ask for a shorter response. All candidates will be allowed equal time to answer the questions. Our timer is Pat Kish, so please keep your eyes on Pat. She will give you the cues, 15 seconds, and then stop. And I can see her too, so I'm going to tell you to stop too. So the candidates for this session are William J. Renshaw, Heather Rigby Rinkovich, Glenn Shepard, Laura Slowinski, Alex W. Spieshak, Scott Tinlin, and Richard Scott. We'll begin the 1 minute opening statements with Mr. Renshaw.
Hi, William Renshaw. I go by Billy.
I don't think your microphone's on. Oh, and it's, when the green light is on, it
All
needs
right,
to.
I'm probably loud enough without it, though.
Well, you want to get it picked up by the,
Hi, William Renshaw. I go by Billy. I've been part of this community since before 1998. Not just living here, but working, serving, and raising up others. As the former chef for the city of Clawson, a PTA member, and a scoutmaster, I've always believed in showing up, listening, and leading with heart. Now I'm ready to take that commitment further. I believe in a city that's fair to everyone, where every voice matters, where city employees are held accountable, and where transparency isn't just a buzzword, it's a promise. I will listen to the people. I will fight for equality, honesty, and a city government that works for all of us. Let's build a Clawson where everyone feels seen, heard, and respected. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Heather Rigby Rinkovich, and I am running for Clawson City Council. I'm a lifelong resident here in Clawson. I was born and raised here. This is also where I chose to buy my first home. I'm married to a military veteran and first responder, and we are very proud members of this community. I'm also the mom to a 12-year-old daughter. After graduating from Clawson High School, I went on to Central Michigan University, where I earned a bachelor's in organizational administration and a master's in humanities. After that, for more than 25 years, I worked in student services and public health with a focus on advocacy and compliance. I'm running because I believe positive change starts local. My priorities are ensuring residents feel heard, aligning long-term plans with budget priorities, and seeking outside funding like grants. Thank you all again, and I look forward to your questions this evening.
Hello, everyone. My name is Richard Scott. I'm running for the City Council 2-year position. I'm currently on City Council. I was appointed in July. And prior to that, I was 2.5 years on the Clawson Planning. I have been a Clawson resident for 30 years. I have one son, an adult son, and let's see, I wrote a few notes, so I'm very familiar with, I was in technology leadership, and I'm very familiar with reading contracts, so that's something that I bring to the table. I'm very prepared for meetings that always happen, even on planning as well. So I think I'm well prepared for the role, for the city council role.
Good evening. My name is Glenn Shepard, and I'm running for re-election to Clawson City Council because I care deeply about the future of our community and the people who call it home. Clawson has always been part of my family's story. My grandfather graduated from Log Cabin School in 1924. My children have attended Clawson School since kindergarten, and like many of you, my family has put down roots here because Clawson is more than a city. It's a community. Over the past 4 years serving on council and 12 years before that on planning commission, including 2 as chairman, I've worked hard to strengthen our neighborhoods, keep Clawson welcoming and affordable, and make thoughtful decisions about how we grow. That means supporting our small businesses, improving our infrastructure, protecting our green spaces, and ensuring families and seniors alike have a place here. I believe Clawson's best days are ahead, but only if we plan responsibly and preserve the character that makes us unique. With your support, I'll continue to work for sustainable growth, neighborhoods, and city government that listens to residents.
1 minute.
Thanks for making me laugh, Glenn. Good evening, and thank you to everyone who came out tonight, and to the League of Women Voters for bringing us together for this historic election forum. My name is Laura Slowinski, and I'm a proud resident of Clawson for over 45 years. I'm an active volunteer in our parish. I'm a part-time K-8 substitute teacher, and I'm a faith formation teacher. And I've been involved with the girls' school for the PTO and athletic board for many years. My husband and I have been married for 19 years. We have raised 2 wonderful daughters. We're really proud of that. But I grew up here. I've lived in 6 different locations in Clawson and have attended 6 different schools. I've watched our city change now and grow, and my interest in local government was sparked by my daughter's lessons in school. If elected, I'm going to bring the same spirit of I'm going to bring respect, collaboration, and skills to serve our city and its citizens, and that's why I'm running. So I'm asking for your vote.
Hello, I am Alex Bischock, candidate for Clawson City Council, and I would like to first thank the League of Women Voters for setting this forum up, as well as the residents in attendance tonight. My wife and I haven't lived in Clawson very long, but I grew up visiting Clawson, many businesses and parks in the city. After living here for the past 4 years, Clawson has become home. Not only do I reside in the city, but I also work in Clawson. I am currently the executive director of the Clawson Chamber of Commerce, which is a 501c6 nonprofit organization and operates independently from the city of Clawson. This year I was appointed to the board of the DDA. I'm also involved in many organizations within the city and volunteering my time and help within the Clawson community. I am running to connect Clawson and lead with purpose, to help make a meaningful progress for the city, in which I believe my background and skills of management to banking, work with nonprofits, can help make me a better leader.
Good evening, and I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having us here tonight, and also the neighbors. My name is Scott Tillen, and I'm proud to call Clawson home for the last 32 years. I'm a former city councilman and a current planning commissioner serving. My multinational experience goes for 35 years, solving problems for my company, managing resources wisely, and building strong partnerships that deliver results. Clawson is a city with a great heart, but we face real challenges: aging infrastructure, development pressures, and the need to make every tax dollar count. My priorities are very clear as I've been campaigning: smart development, responsible budgeting, and open and honest communication. I believe my Clawson First approach, putting community before politics, neighborhood cliques. My passion is to keep Clawson just not a good place to live, but the best place to live. I'm ready to serve. I've demonstrated as a leader that has proven results, and I'm committed to moving Clawson forward with everyone. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to start the questions with Mr. Renshaw. And the question is, and this is a 1-minute question: what are your top 3 priorities, given the many action items in our master plan and limited resources? Your top priorities.
Master plans and our,
What are your top 3 priorities, given the many action items?
okay, we need to cut our spending back, so we need to get our budget in better. Make sure everybody's treated fairly. We need to keep our infrastructure, get it a little bit better. And just to be fair to everybody, let's make sure the city runs on a better note than it has. Thank you.
Can you repeat it, the question, please?
What are your top 3 priorities, given the many action items in our master plan and limited resources?
My top 3 priorities would be starting with the budget. So I do believe that the budget needs to, 1, have measurables and align better with our master plan and long-term plans. Definitely ensuring that residents feel heard, don't feel like communication is best right now, and then seeking outside funding and grants to help ease the burden on our residents. So those would be my top 3.
Top 3 based on master plan. I mean, the very top one is infrastructure. I mean, everyone knows that we voted in the infrastructure bond. I think once now that we have done that, we need to make sure that we, are watching carefully on how that money is spent and making sure that the right projects are being funded and corrected in the city. Beyond that, that kind of gets to kind of fiscal responsibility. And I think beyond that, one thing that I'm concerned about, it has a little bit to do with the master plan, is, just providing some stability for this community. There's been, in the not too distant past, some turmoil in this city, and I think it's important to have some stability for this city going forward, long term.
My top three, it's to continue the development of our infrastructure and then to maintain it. We have to have a long-term plan on how we approach our infrastructure for the next 30 years so that we don't get into another situation where we have 100-year-old pipes and constant water main breaks. The other is to find ways that we can attract our families that come to the city, that they can plant roots here and attend our schools in order to help support our school district so that we can, again, build on our foundation for community. So the other is trying to maintain and preserve our green spaces and try to develop that green infrastructure that's also in tandem with our hardscape infrastructure. Thank you.
So my top three for the master plan and priorities would be downtown development, making sure that the new businesses coming in, they are remaining in the city. They don't just have contracts for 1 year and then the rents are raised and then they have to move away. So we want to make sure that we continue to keep them in the city. Strategic planning, we want to make sure that we're planning ahead and what we're planning for makes sense, that we have the correct budget for it. And then the water and sewage, I think that's important for us to get that handled. I know that they're almost finished, or so like, I don't know the percentage, but 84% finishing up with that. Once we know that, we'll have a plan that we can strategically put together something and figure out how we're going to make that work.
My three focuses would be transparency and trust, making sure to improve the open communication and clear updates for the citizens, improving the tax burden by reducing and prioritizing the efficiency in the budgets, and modernizing the city and ordinances, updating outdated ordinances to support local small businesses, and plan for the future of Clawson without losing its heart.
Okay, my top three. I'll start with the smart development first. And we have a new master plan that was just passed this year. And that's really focusing on growing our tax revenue while protecting our small town charm. A responsible budgeting, and that's just treating every dollar right. But just if you look at the 2024 homestead breakdown of our taxes, you realize only 34% of our taxes are actually going to municipal budget. 55 cents goes to Oakland County State Education or Board of Education, with 10 cents going to the millage. So we just have to trust that 34 cents and guard that. But we have to develop more tax revenue from smart development. And the last one is just open and honest communication with the residents so they can trust their leaders. And that's what I plan to do. That's what I've done as a city councilman, as a planning commissioner, of being very transparent and telling you the truth, which sometimes is difficult. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. We're going to start the next question with Ms. Rinkovich. I hope I got your name right. Close enough. Okay, thank you. Given the recent challenges to meeting decorum and the protection of free speech during public comments, what is your plan to uphold Robert's Rules of Order? And how would you proactively ensure that citizens' right to criticize the government is protected and that such comments are not interrupted?
Well, I feel like it's a pretty simple answer, and that's training and education on Robert's Rules of Order. I feel like there has not been enough training and education on that side. I don't know if it's because it's something that hasn't been offered or if it's not something that's compulsory. So I believe every city council person should have to go through some sort of training through MML. Again, as a lifelong learner and someone who comes from a background of education, if we're starting to see gaps, we've got to look back at education and training and fall back on that.
I would support training as well. I think that Robert's Rules as a guideline for meetings is sometimes complicated. So I think it would be really good for people to get some training on what Robert's Rules is and how to properly use it. That said, we have a parliamentarian in our city attorney, and I really firmly believe that if any of the boards were going outside of Robert's Rules significantly, he as the parliamentarian would provide some oversight for us and let us know that we're not doing things appropriately. As far as free speech goes, I am a big proponent of free speech. People have the right to say anything, even though I may not like it. I'll give you I'll fight for the right to say it, but it needs to be civil. So that's about all I've got.
Well, when I was chair on Planning Commission, anybody who had the opportunity to come and speak could speak for as long as they wanted. The one thing that I tried to maintain was silence from the board, from the commission, to make sure that everybody had their opportunity to come and speak. In fact, there were times when I would encourage even members on our Planning Commission to say their mind, so to make sure that we had everybody an opportunity to give their opinion. So I think it's critical that everybody does have an opportunity to speak, and that we make sure that we listen on both sides. So if there's an opportunity that 3 minutes may not be enough for a citizen in order to share their opinion, that we seek out that person, or at least make sure that they feel comfortable in reaching out directly to us. So I've always been open for anybody who has any opinion that they'd like to share with me, and I will respond in kind.
I support free speech, and I really like the ideas of educating the council, because they may not know what the rules are. When I was on the Charter Commission, I bought one of those little booklets and brought it to me with the meetings, and it was crazy because it was like you had to focus on what were you going to say, how many minutes, can they come, can we respond, and it's a lot to remember. So I would say I really support the fact that if people have something to say, that they really should be heard. And I think that if we listen to one another, we're really going to learn new things. And that is something that's really super important especially if you have a new council. Thank you.
I believe in free speech. I believe that everybody has the right to come up and speak how they feel. And I believe as a council, training is definitely a very important thing that we should focus on. But also being able to understand that not every opinion and not everybody's approach to everything may be a way that we agree with it. And being able to understand the differences in people is very important for me. So I'm sure there will be ways and times throughout my life that people won't agree with me, but I will always be there to respect their opinion and listen to what they have to say, because I think it's very important. Thank you.
So I'll just begin that free speech is embedded in the Constitution, right? So that everyone has that right. And as a leader, I like input. The more input I have, that helps me make a decision. And as far as just Robert's Rules, I agree there's sometimes a blind spot there where we don't provide the training to boards or even the council. For me, I always like to increase skill sets. So I actually belong to the National Association of Parliamentarians, and I'm actually halfway through my board accreditation. So besides the training the city's going to provide, I want to be a parliamentarian besides our attorney, so we can call when we're out of order, right? And that's what's necessary. Robert's Rules are there to have a constructive meeting. So that's why I'm adding that skill set. Whether I make it to council or not, I'll have that as I serve as a planning commissioner.
I also believe in training. They should be trained up here. For people, don't be afraid to speak up. I did. You got to do it. Everybody has to listen. Everybody has to pay attention. If it goes anywhere, let's hope it does. Let's not let it go in one ear and out the other. And opinions matter. That's all I can tell you. let's listen to them all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This kind of rolls into the previous question. A lot of people touched on training, so this is going to be a 30-second, that won't take long. So, Michigan Municipal League offers training for elected officials. Will you commit to participating in MML training and activities, or have you done so already? And we're going to start with Mr. Scott.
Absolutely. I took, there's training that was offered as part of the Planning Commission, and I went through all of that, and I'd be happy to do it. I'd love to, yeah.
Yeah, any additional training I would be more than happy to do. I'm already currently serving on the MML Infrastructure Technology Board, and I've been serving there for the past 5 years.
Of course, I love training. I think it makes, especially upgrading and training, you know, continuous training. I would be willing to do that. And, you know, when I was on the Charter Commission, it wasn't offered, and I think if it was, I think it would have been easier to run meetings.
Yes, I definitely would agree to the training. I believe that it helps us as a city, as a council, to be able to provide the best for the citizens of Clawson to be trained.
I guess I'll be the end then. More training, the better, right? And just to demonstrate, I always train. So I'm also a certified community planning commissioner from the Michigan State. I participate in a variety of training events up in Oakland County government buildings. So I'm always wanting more knowledge. Again, we're here to serve. So the more training we have, the better we can serve you.
Yes, definitely training. I love to learn. I've been in my job over 30 years, and I'm still learning new things. So yes, training is good for our environment.
Well, I think I hit that in the last question, but absolutely, if Michigan Municipal League, MML, offers free training or training to council persons, then I think it should be compulsory for anybody who is on council. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what would you actively do to obtain dollars for road and sewer repair? The recent infrastructure bond is not enough to repair and maintain roads. How is Clawson maintaining roads now? And we're going to start that with Mr. Shepard.
We should still try and go out for grants. That's the problem, though, with grants is that they still need to be appropriated, but we still need to continue to try as best we can for that. If there's any other corporations that can help with that, we need to do our best to try and investigate that. We did have a couple that came our way for about $1 million on a couple of our roads, and that certainly helped, but as we know, the infrastructure cost is astronomical, and it's continuing to increase. So if we can try and find some other avenues through grants, that would be the way to go.
I would say that we should prioritize the streets that we work on first and make sure that when we're getting quotes, that we look at the quotes and we understand them and we hire the best people for the job. Especially quality. Don't go with the lowest quote just to get the cheapest deal. Make sure that they're going to do a good job. And I agree that hire a grant writer to get more grants. And if we don't know how to do that, look at other cities on how that would be possible.
I would agree. Going out for grants is something that I think is very important within the city. Finding those outside opportunities to help us continue to maintain our core structure is very important. And then also being able to look at opportunities within the budget as well to find ways to utilize money that is needed for the infrastructure that has been so poor.
Well, I guess I'll support the grant side of it. And, you know, again, I always proof in the pudding. I've already been looking at the grant protocols, and there's ways to do it. Other cities have part-time, and just for fun, I'm actually helping charity donations or public commissions in Chicago right now writing grants. So you got to learn a skill set, whether we have a subcommittee that does that. That's additional revenue. But also just, again, that development factor, getting more revenue in. And also just looking, I know the infrastructure strategy is, you know, working on the worst, but we really haven't addressed flooding this year. We've had a good dry summer, I guess, right? So again, that was a topic around 2023, that we have to look at maybe some out-of-the-box engineering solutions to help some of the neighborhoods that's had chronic flooding for decades.
Yes, I believe in grants too. We need to look into the grants, and then we need to look in our budget too. Let's rearrange our budget a little bit. We waste a lot of money here, so we need to straighten that out, and let's put it towards the roads and better things that we can do with it. Thank you.
I think everybody's on board with grants and free money, anything we can do to keep taxes lower. So definitely on board with all of that, but absolutely reviewing our budget and ensuring that we're making the most of our budget, ensuring with anything infrastructure that we're being proactive versus reactive, getting the bids, making sure that we're going out there and getting the best quality at the best price, and prioritizing where we're starting with those roads and what roads are a priority.
I guess I'll make it unanimous. I agree with the whole grant thing. I was at the DIA for 8 years and was part of grant teams at the DIA. Grants sometimes can be difficult to get, but we need to keep pursuing them. I think the city has been doing a pretty good job of hunting out grants that they can get, but there's always more to be done. There's always more opportunity for exploring other grants and getting more if we can. And I also agree with the keeping track of the budget and seeing if there's any opportunity to divert some funding to support the infrastructure and more long term. So it's kind of both things, making sure that our spending is in control on all the items in the budget and continuing to pursue grants to the extent we can.
Okay, well, thank you for that. We're going to have another 30-second question, and this is just a little bit, we're just trying to get to know you a little better. What Clawson organizations do you belong to, or regularly, what other things do you support in Clawson? And we're going to start that with Ms. Lewinsky.
Okay, so I am, I work at the parish, I volunteer at the parish, Guardian Angels, and I belong to many different groups that work together within the parish. I'm sorry, I'm so nervous.
I am a member of the Clawson Lions Club, a very proud member of them. I'm also a member of the Knights of Columbus. I serve on the DDA board. Any chance that I get to volunteer within the city of Clawson, I take advantage of it because I think it's important to be able to give back. And finding that time is very important to me.
Okay, so I'm a shrine parishioner, so the guardian angel angle doesn't help with me, but, so I've served on the committee for 4 to 5 years, right? 2 appointed terms on the planning commission and also as a city councilman. And when I'm in those roles, I give back to the community. I'm one of the very visible planning commissioners looking at the sites when we're looking at development, along with as councilman.
I just like to help out at the senior center. Whenever I get a day off, I'll try to go there and help serve lunch and hang out and talk to our seniors. Make sure they have a good time while they're eating lunch, because I used to serve them a lot. Thank you.
So I own my own business here in Clawson. I'm a flower farmer florist, and I have offered my gardens up to the local Girl Scout troops. So I've had Daisy Scouts over, and so that goes back to my childhood. So, and then I've done some stuff with the chamber as well, trying to get engaged with their youth program. So, thank you.
Let's see, past Clawson youth soccer coach, actually, my son was in Roja, so hockey doesn't matter. I guess I was his hockey manager as well, but that's Roja, that's not Clawson. Although a lot of Clawson players, I think, go over to Roja. Obviously, like I said, I was on 2.5 years on planning and just a couple of months now on council.
So I've been a coach in CYBSL, that's their Clawson Youth Baseball Softball League, and then also I was a coach in our Junior Trojan basketball program. Did those for a number of years. The other thing that I spend a lot of time on, and maybe too much time, is our tree planting program and trying to develop a broad spectrum for what we can plant for our right-of-way.
Okay, this is a 1-minute response. Our community recently had a special election in May, which cost approximately $25,000 to reconsider a change to the charter that had already been approved by voters. Do you believe holding this special election was the right course of action, and why or why not? And we're going to start that with Mr. Spisak.
Thank you. No, I personally did not agree with the special election. I think that there's opportunities for our money that was spent on that we could have put towards something better. Obviously, $26,000 putting towards the roads does not do much when it comes to roads. But we do have core infrastructure needs that we need that are outside of the actual physical infrastructure. There are places like the Hunter Center that definitely need some love and care, which is definitely underfunded and overlooked sometimes by citizens. It's a wonderful place to be. So I did not agree with it, no.
Did you say 3 minutes or 30 seconds? 30 seconds? 60, okay. So I just quick on the history of the charter, right? It passed by a majority, right? I wish we had had more of an a la carte menu like Madison Heights did, where you could pick the different elements of the charter and vote them individually, but that didn't happen. And I was in the camp that if there was concerns, we should have had it at the next election cycle. It would have been for free if there had been concerns about that. And the optics are wrong with the special election, right? I'm very frugal with the money, and $20,000, I try to equate that to how many potholes we could fix, right? So that's my answer for that.
No, I did not agree with them doing that either. They could have spent that money in a lot better places than that. They need to think about what they're doing, and maybe after this election they will. Thank you.
No, I definitely did not agree with the special election in May. For starters, to me, it felt like we were overturning a free and fair election that the citizens of Clawson had passed in 2023 with the full charter. I also was concerned about cherry picking and setting precedents as well over an ordinance, or picking an ordinance that hadn't even gone into effect yet, and what precedents would do if we kept picking ordinances and voting on special elections that way. In addition to that, the obvious cost on all of us as taxpayers, and what we could have done with that $25,000 plus. Thank you.
Actually, I did support the question because I wanted to make sure that the Clawson residents were well aware of that specific change within the charter. I know that the charter was laid out there, but that one change, I think, was one of the more controversial changes. And many people had talked, at least around me, in my area, had talked about why that change was made when I had brought it up with them. So I think it's important to make sure that all the residents were clear on what a change like that means to the city, and giving them another opportunity to clarify and make sure that that's exactly what they wanted, I think was, it felt like the right thing to do.
So it's probably well known that I was a strong advocate for moving forward with it. And I will always be a strong advocate for more democracy and your opportunity to express your opinion. So those are difficult decisions as far as making sure that you have an opportunity to vote and say your will. So the reason why I supported that in the first place is that we had traditions in this community for over 100 years, and that for the charter, while I supported it to go forward, there were certain aspects of it that I and other folks that I had talked to we're not satisfied with. And this charter is not sacrosanct. There are opportunities that we may need to look at after we have 7 on this council that we need to go back and take a look at what was changed. The other thing was that the county itself, at the same time we were doing that, was reducing the number of county commissioners to the point where they said it was for cost effectiveness and making sure that we had effective government.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for really keeping good with the, oh. Okay, well, I'm sorry.
No problem. So I was against the special election because the new charter wasn't even into fruition. We hadn't even gone to 7 council members yet. So I thought that was not a very good way to spend the city's money. The Charter Commission, they put a lot of work of hiring an attorney and learning a lot of different things. One of the things that somebody had talked about was, why didn't we cherry pick? Well, other cities have done it. Well, we asked our attorney this question, why can't we cherry pick? And the answer to that was, because you can only do so many charter changes in a year. And so if we cherry picked and did that, it would take us somewhere like 20 years before we could get the charter updated. So I believe that that was a waste of money, and I believe that the charter update that we voted on, we should be able to go ahead and put it into fruition.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry about that, Laura.
No problem.
All right. So this is going to be our last question, and we're going to start with Mr. Tinlin. Do you consider Clawson to be inclusive of seniors? Do you support maintaining the Renshaw apartments?
You saved that question just for me, didn't you? So.
No, everybody's going to get a shot at
first
it.
at this. So we'll just talk about just inclusive seniors. I think we are. I mean, we have our senior citizen center now that needs repair, right? And I'm one of our councilmen that actually have gone to the open houses. I think there's a video of me doing a tango there. So I support the senior as much as we can. We're a capped income community, right? We only had about $10.2 million in our general budget. For the Renshaw apartments, I know that's been a hot topic, right? So my stance on that is we have to communicate to the community how much that's really costing us. I'm a financial guy, right? And I don't think we've done a good job to all the voters out there explaining exactly how much that costs. And also the rules around how we administrate that. So I know they went up to vote just before the last city council. I would support having education, bring the financial officers in, explain how much that costs to us. And I'd like to see that going on ballot in that decision around Renshaw apartments for the whole community.
I think we should keep the Renshaw apartments. We need to support our seniors more than we really do. They need better stuff at the senior center. They need better food. So we need to take care of the seniors. Let's see what we can do for them.
Well, I'm pretty familiar with the Renshaw Apartments. I've been over there several times and met with the residents over there. I do not believe currently in the sale of those apartments, not without a plan from the city, both for the residents and for the money. Based on what I've seen and without full clarity of the budget and what that impact is or could be on the budget or what we have been spending on those seniors, given the housing crisis and without workshopping it to the community, I don't feel that we should be selling Renshaw apartments at this time and putting that on the conscience of the people of Clawson without a full plan and full transparency about what those apartments are and what they brought to Clawson, and making sure those seniors are safe. Thank you.
So that came before city council, actually, when I was on city council, and I voted against putting it on the ballot. And the primary reason I did that was because, similarly, I don't think we should put it before the residents of Clawson until we have more information. That is, determine what it is exactly that our plan is going to be for the current residents that are there so that they're made whole on the sale. And then also have a plan and outline it. It doesn't have to be final, but at least tell the people of Clawson what the intent is for the money, the windfall of money that we're going to get on that sale. What are we going to do with that money? If we have those things in place, then I'd be willing to put it before the Clawson residents and let the Clawson residents decide, but not until then.
So as I've said before, I want more democracy, not less. This is an important issue that the voters of Clawson have a right to have input on. We're sitting on about $400,000 for money for that location, and the property itself is about $1.5 million. We're currently improving 2 apartments for the cost of $73,000 apiece. That's not fair to the rest of the residents, and it's not fair to other seniors who are not in that situation. We have to consider for everybody in this community and understand where our scarce resources should be going. I have compassion for the 15 people that are there, but I also have compassion for the 11,000 residents that are also here. So if we were to do the same thing for all of our residents, we would be close to a budget of $1 billion. We have to have this taken up in the next cycle.
I think we seem to be inclusive for seniors. I think the parks and recs, they're getting better. There's more programs that we've had recently than in the last years. And I know that the seniors appreciate that, especially the lower income ones. And I think for the Renshaw Apartments, I would say that we need to hear a plan and we need to understand what everything is involved in, and I would need more data to do that. But I would make sure that there was a plan for the residents and not just kick them out. Make sure that this is something that they also want, but also make sure that it's important with the budget also. Thank you.
I believe that Clawson is very inclusive when it comes to its residents, when it comes to the senior. I believe there's always room for improvement to continue to help those seniors and to continue to help those people who are on the lower income spectrum. I've said it before, if there was no money or issues we had to worry about, I would love to have a brand new community center that's open to all, awesome amenities, amazing things. But obviously, we need to look at those opportunities. When it comes to Renshaw, I believe we really need to take a deeper look at what the building is and what it means. Because yes, there are 11,000 plus people who live in this city, but those are 15 people who rely on the opportunity to have that low income for them. Or low rent for them because of their income. And I think that it's very important that we figure it out before we move forward with it.
Okay, that concludes, excuse me, that concludes the question portion of the evening. The candidates will now be given 1 minute to make a closing statement in the reverse order of opening statements. We're going to begin with Mr. Tinlin.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for being here tonight and caring about Clawson. I'm running because I believe in Clawson, where neighbors look out for one another. We're a small town charmed with a big heart, but we also face real challenges. With our infrastructure, development, and budgeting, they require experience and steady leadership. I'm a proven leader. My approach is simple. Put Clawson first. Listen to our residents and make responsible and transparent decisions that serve the whole community. I'm passionate about keeping Clawson the best place to live and raise a family and build a future. And on Election Day, I ask for your support. I encourage you to share that message with your friends and neighbors. So together we can keep Clawson moving forward together.
I wanted to say thank you to everybody again who came out tonight, to the League of Women Voters, anybody who's watching from home, and the people here, along with all the other candidates. It's been wonderful so far to run with so many people and have the opportunity to speak and have my voice heard. I look forward to working and continuing to grow Clawson. I love the city of Clawson. It's my home. I want to see it flourish and continue to grow to a brighter future that puts its residents first. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming and giving us an opportunity to talk tonight. I know this is a historic election, and there were a lot of candidates this year. So I hope everybody does their homework and get to know the candidates by watching things that we're doing. But my time leading the Charter Commission wasn't just about updating a document. It was a powerful lesson in collaboration. I saw firsthand that even when people come from different backgrounds and hold different beliefs, they can still listen to one another and achieve great things with kindness and respect. If elected, that is the same approach I will take with the City Council. I will come to the meetings prepared and I will ask questions. My leadership is grounded in accountability, strong character, and professionalism, and I know we will be able to work together toward a betterment of Clawson. So thank you for your consideration, and I would appreciate your vote.
First, thank you to the League of Women Voters for putting this on, and then thank you to the residents of Clawson. Clawson is my home. It's where my children have grown up and where my family's roots go back a century. Over the past 4 years on City Council and 12 years on the Planning Commission, I've worked hard to protect what makes Clawson special while planning responsibly for the future. I'm asking for your vote so I can continue serving our community, supporting our families, strengthening our neighborhoods, and making sure Clawson remains a place where people want to live, raise kids, and stay for generations. Thank you.
I'd also like to thank all of you for coming out and everyone that's going to be listening to the video. I really do appreciate citizen involvement, and I'd really like to talk to people more. Being on the Planning Commission and then my brief time on council, there really isn't an opportunity for back and forth. So I'm giving a message to everyone. I'd love to talk to people more frequently. Reach out, let's chat. I'd love to hear ideas and thoughts from others. I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy that's trying to help this city stay something like it has been for the past 30 years, because I and my wife and son, we absolutely love this city. And I just want to make it a choice for people to raise families in going into the future.
Well, thank you everyone again for coming out this evening. As Clawson looks ahead to an important decision this November, I encourage everyone to stay engaged, stay informed, and use your voice, because your vote is your voice and your voice is your vote. And that's the foundation of change you want to see in our community. If chosen to serve as one of your next city council members, I will bring both education and real-world experience, along with the character and demeanor needed to lead with integrity. I will be a trusted advocate, a reliable resource, and a dedicated neighbor. I believe that's exactly the perspective Clawson deserves on City Council. If you share that vision, I hope to earn your vote this November. My name again is Heather Rigby-Rinkovich, and I'd be honored to represent you on Clawson City Council. Thanks again.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, listening to everybody, spending your time with us. When I'm elected, I will listen to you. I'll make sure your voices are heard so we have transparency through the whole city. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. And, it takes a lot to throw your hat in the ring, and you're putting yourself out there, and it's greatly appreciated. So the League of Women Voters would like to thank the audience, the candidates, and Clawson Cable TV for making this forum possible. This presentation is copyrighted 2025 by the League of Women Voters, all rights reserved. Any recording may only be shown in its entirety. For more nonpartisan information on these candidates, visit vote411.org. So it's 4, 1, and another 1. Rebroadcast times of this forum will be on the League of Women Voters website. The League of Women Voters is funded by contributions from concerned businesses and citizens. Our membership is open to men and women over the age of 16. Remember to vote on or before November 5th. And thank you, everybody, again.
It was too quiet. It was way too quiet. You guys would have heard me cheating. Right?